Welcome to Healing Whole, the podcast. I'm your host, Callie. I'm a certified personal trainer and fitness instructor. I also happen to be extremely passionate about holistic living. With close to 10 years of experience, I've worked with clients from all walks of life. I also know a healthy and holistic lifestyle can be a little overwhelming. I'm here to break it down for you and take you on my journey to healing whole. Remember, the materials and content within this podcast are intended as general information only and are not to be considered a substitute for medical advice or treatment. Hello, and welcome to episode 18 of Healing Whole, the podcast. I am your host, Callie. Today I am here with Emily Mahler. Emily is a wife and mother who loves health and wellness and seeing how things are connected. She is on a mission to bring wellness professionals together through her directory, Wellness for Generations, to create movement in the wellness space, which we're going to learn all about today. But first off, I want to ask you, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm actually doing pretty well today. It's kind of been the first day in 2 months that I felt decent.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm actually 12 weeks pregnant on Friday. So,
Yay! That's so exciting!
So I've been struggling with some depression and stuff, and my hormones, I think, are finally starting to get to a little bit better of a place. But
how many kids do you have?
So, I have one. He's 4.
Okay.
So this will be our second.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel you, though. I suffer from, I don't really say suffer, I like to say survive, depression and anxiety and bipolar. So if you ever need somebody to talk to,
yes,
I'm here for you. So first thing I want to talk about is I met Emily at Wellness on the Yacht and through Wellness on the Yacht. So what'd you think about Wellness on the Yacht?
It was really awesome. I found the event, I think just on Facebook. I don't know if you did sponsored posts that came up in my newsfeed, and I was like, it's the first event I've done as my business. I used to do doTERRA, and that was easy because you have the product, you have all their literature, and when I signed up for this, and I'm actually doing one this Saturday, I was like, okay, this will be good, and then I was like, oh crap, like what do I put on my table? Especially because my business is a website. I don't actually sell a product. But Wellness on the Yacht was great. The day was perfect. It wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold.
A little shady. It was nice.
Yes. I loved the setup. It was really great. I got to meet a lot of the vendors and stuff. The food was excellent. And everything was just really smooth. So yeah, I really enjoyed being there, and I'm excited to be there again next year.
Good. That makes me very happy. I'm happy to have met you through that.
Yes.
So the first question I always ask everyone is, how did you get into this holistic way of living? How did you get in this lifestyle? Where did it start for you?
Yeah, so we just talked a little bit about this in my Facebook group. Back, I can't even remember really when exactly, but it would have been at least like 7 or 8 years ago. I have always had really bad cramps during my period. And so I would take Advil, Motrin, like even though it didn't help, I would just like insisted on taking it because, well, what else am I going to take? Midol never helped whatsoever. And so I would just take tons of pills to like try to alleviate some of my pain, but it never really worked. And I can't remember, I think it was 2012. Yeah, it would have been 2012. A friend of mine introduced me to essential oils, and I was kind of not really interested because I had used like tea tree from the store and whatever, and I went to one of their classes and learned like a little bit more about the oils, and I was like, wow, I did not realize they were so powerful. I knew like some about health and wellness prior to that, but that's kind of what really got me started. So whenever I got my next cycle, I could feel it coming, and it was like on the worst weekend possible because I'd taken off the entire weekend for work to spend with my now husband. We were going to go to the fair, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to go because like I would be in bed for like a day or two. And so I called my friend and I was like, hey, what oil do you recommend for this? Because I remembered seeing it on one of the brochures. So she recommended Clary Sage, gave me a sample, and I used it, and within minutes, like, my cramping was gone, and I was like, oh my god, like,
this stuff is magic.
I've had relief. So I used that, like, all weekend. Like, every time I went to the bathroom, I, like, put just a little bit on. and it was the first time I ever had like a cramp-free period. So that was like huge for me. And then from there, I just kind of started learning more about the oils, and my husband was already kind of interested in like eating healthier and stuff. So we worked on our diet a little bit, and I started learning about some teas. Like I use red raspberry leaf tea and stuff for cramping and stuff too. So that was kind of what started me, and everything has just kind of cascaded along throughout the years.
I swear I say this every episode, but it's like a waterfall. You start out in one category and then it just waterfalls over into all the other categories.
Yes.
It's crazy.
That's exactly what happens.
So tell me about Wellness for Generations. What is it exactly?
So Wellness for Generations is an online wellness directory of professionals and resources. There's also a blog, but the main focus is the directory. So the goal is to have international, like all the different people that are in wellness spaces, and that can be from chiropractor to functional medicine doctor to health coaches, people who do Reiki, like
anything in the holistic
so
health
broad.
field.
Yes,
Yeah.
like personality, like it's so fascinating how your personality and like all the different stuff is interconnected. So it's a very broad range of professionals, but all focused on holistic healing. They all have to have the belief that everything's connected, that they're not a one size fits all, that they're not perfect for everyone, because sometimes it's just you just don't jive with a person, and that means that that's not the person for you. Like I'm currently in therapy, and I love the person that I have, but like because I know so much about health and wellness, I know that what she's giving me, which is just talk therapy, is not what I need. I need a holistic therapist, which I found one, and I'm hopefully starting in November. But like it's just so fascinating to learn about all of it. And then through that, like with the membership, the goal is to really kind of bring the wellness professionals together, advance our movement of, promoting health and wellness. I do vet all of the professionals, and it's just been really fun to meet different people and get to know different people through that.
Awesome. What made you want to do that? Because I would never think to make a wellness directory. What made you want to do that?
Well, there's a few things. Whenever I had my son, we took him to the chiropractor a lot. And then whenever we moved, it was like a half an hour drive, and I just didn't really feel like doing it. But we still went occasionally. But then when I started working, when he turned 2, the hours did not work to go to where we were going. And so I knew of 2 that were close, but not enough. And I knew that there were like 2 things that they believed in that I believed in, but I didn't know them well enough to like want to take them. And the one I had asked because he was sick, and she was like, I don't really feel comfortable doing kids that young. Like, I prefer you going to Berlin to Crystal. And I was like, okay. So that time I did end up going to Berlin, but my one friend then moved back, and she started. So we go to her, and we love her, and all of that. But it was kind of hard because like, if I would have known, or I like had a little bit of an insight to like those other people, I might have been more interested. And I probably could have called, and just chatted with them a little bit to get the vibe. But we just have such an alternative lifestyle that I just don't want to entrust my son's care to anybody. So that's kind of one of the things that started it. And the other thing is like, I do have a lot of friends who always ask me for recommendations for different people because they know that I am interested in it, and I'm always trying to find different people. And I'm like, well, and I refer people to I have a naturopath that I love that's local to Somerset area. And I love to be able to like help people. Like even there was someone in Florida that was struggling with something, and I was like, I don't know if my naturopath does distance work or not, but like she knows a lot about this specific disease. Like, so it's just really fascinating to be able to connect people, and I love connecting people to who might be able to help them best, especially in their health.
That's really awesome. I feel like that's another thing that we talk about a lot. Usually it comes from a problem that you're trying to solve. Why you're doing what you're doing is because you're trying to solve some kind of problem. So you said you vet everyone that comes in. What's that process like?
So if they're starting off on the website, there's a few different website questions that I ask, which are the ones I mentioned. Do you believe that everything is interconnected? Are you open to collaborating with others? because I don't want it to be a place of competition. I want it to be a place of support, which is a big factor. And then from there, we do a phone call. And some of my questions, let me pull them up here, include, let's see, where are we here? I kind of ask them about themselves, what kind of got them to where they are now. I like to learn a little bit more about their business, what their mission is, the goals for their business. I like to know what drives them in their business and kind of why they started it. Then I ask them a little bit about marketing, like what do you do to market yourself? Because then that helps me know how I can help them better from that aspect. And then some of the other questions are what their definition of holistic wellness is, why it's important to collaborate with others, what the favorite aspect of community support is, how they see us as an asset in their business, like what they want to get out of the collaboration with Wellness for Generations. And the conversation is typically very organic. You just kind of get that vibe. A lot of stuff comes out, like a lot of the about you stuff includes like where they've done their coaching or or schooling or whatever. So it's just a really fun and just a way to get to know them, to kind of get that idea of if they could benefit for being on the website.
Which is awesome that you really get to know them. It's not just kind of like 3 questions and that's it. You really get to know who they are. So you're only referring people who you know are quality and you trust.
Right. Yes. Yeah. People that, and I've told a few people, because there's so many life coaches that I have relationships with now that I'm like, I wish I could hire you all, because there's so many pieces of all of them that I need in my life right now. So that's definitely one of the challenges, is I love everybody that I talk to, and then I'm always like, I really wish I could give them business, and that's not where my focus is right now. But they're all really great to work with, and they're very supportive, even just in the business for myself, and it's just been really cool to get that community feel.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that you focus on community and it's not a competition. Excuse me. I ate before this and it's making my throat congested for some reason. I read something somewhere about how the flower doesn't look at the other flower and say that you're growing faster than me or something like that. I love that you focus on community.
Yeah.
But so tell me more about that, because you have a Facebook group, right?
Yes. So there are 2. I actually just condensed a lot, because I started out originally with 2 Facebook groups, and I kind of ended up with 5 somehow this year, because I was I saw different ideas for different things, and I was like, oh, this would be a good group to have, and all this stuff, and I ended up just pulling
It's
back.
a lot to keep up with. Groups are a lot to keep up with.
So then of course I found I was pregnant, and I was just so overwhelmed with so many things, and so I have 2 groups primarily. One is the community group, which anybody can access and get on. You do just have to request to join, and then I approve people, just to make sure the spammy people aren't on there. And then there's the VIP group. So once they join the membership, they get put into the VIP group. So they get access to both of those groups, the members. So the VIP group for the professionals is to just kind of keep each other slightly motivated. I don't put a ton of content on there, just because they are running their own groups. They're in other groups specific to their field, all of that. So I kind of just focus on a Monday motivation post and ask what their goals are for the week. And then a Friday, what were your successes? I'll occasionally post some other things as I see them through the week, but that's kind of what that is. But they can post, they can ask questions, they can, if they're dealing with a client going through something, hey, I have this client, and could someone give me tips or tricks for maybe this specific thing, that kind of thing. That's what I really envisioned that group being. And then the community group is just for everybody, just kind of education on holistic wellness. Members can post questions, that kind of thing, or share information that they, come across and stuff like that, just to share with the group. So
is the community group called Wellness for Generations Community Group?
Yes.
People are interested in joining, and they can probably find it if they go to your Facebook page, Wellness for Generations.
Yes. Yeah, if you go, I think it's in the groups section or something like that, in that tab. Yeah.
You have memberships, you said. Do you want to talk a
Yes.
little bit about what kind of memberships that you offer?
Yeah. Yeah, so for the professionals, I have three different pricing structures. I have the standard, which includes the listing, the private Facebook group, the Facebook community, and then reviews on the listing. So the listing isn't just like a Google listing. It has questions. There's a section to kind of explain your business and what you do. And then the two questions that I ask everyone are, what is your personal view on holistic wellness? And goodness, what got you into this field, kind of thing. So that when people are looking at the directory, they can kind of have some of those quick connections with people, and be like, oh, we have this in common. That's something cool. And then from there, it kind of builds up. So the second level is the advanced level. And in the directory listing, you get an additional 3 fun facts, an FAQ section. So if you have those frequently asked questions, you can have that. And then a Facebook Live interview on the Facebook page, which is then transferred over to YouTube.
Nice.
And and then the last section, the professional listing, also includes an email opt-in on the website or on the directory listing. So if you have like a freebie that you want to offer, and kind of gather some emails from your listing, I can add that into the listing. And then video options. Nobody has sent me videos yet. I have a few people that wanted to do the videos but haven't sent me videos, but just for variety, for the listing, if you want to do video over text or something like that. And then with all of them, there's a certain number of published articles you can have per year on the website. So if you want to write an article about your topic or another topic that's like just really out there for you, that you really love and are passionate about, the goal is to keep it more research-based if possible. Some topics can't always be specific research, but they just have to be sound. And then I approve them and post them on the website and stuff. And then that gives them another piece of exposure. They can share that website or that article on Facebook, on their social media, that kind of stuff. And then, of course, we're sharing it. And hopefully at some point we'll also have viral posts that, kind of get the directory out there a little more too. So
yeah, you have a lot going on with this.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot.
That's awesome. But that's not the only thing you do. You plan an event as well.
Yes. So this will be our second year. This year in 2019, this is when I launched my website on April 15th is the day it went live this year.
Awesome.
And I had done a business program through the Ben Franklin Tech Accelerator program at the beginning of the year. It was, I believe, January through March. And I want to say it was the end of February, beginning of March. My friend texted me and she's like, hey, do you want to do this event? Because we've been talking about it for a really long time. I think it'd be awesome for Mother's Day. And I was like, sure. Because I was in that like really good flow of like movement and all this stuff. And so within a weekend, we found a location. We found a speaker. We started getting vendors. Like it was just like all fell together really well. So we did, it was called Spring into Women's Wellness. We were going to do like Mother's Day, but we didn't want to exclude anyone. So we just, made it for women. And we had one speaker, Dr. Sarah Viviona from Integrative Health and Wellness Center. And then we had a caterer for lunch, or for, I guess it was more of an evening or afternoon meal. And then we had almost 15 vendors, all related to health and wellness space. I'll say no MLMs, but we had one MLM because they were a wine vendor and it was clean wine. So we were like, well, we have to like.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
We needed wine. We needed clean wine. But everyone else, like my goal with my business is to do everything that's not MLM, just because of the stuff that can get wrapped up in that, especially when like running a business. So we had a boudoir photographer, Taylor Rain from Greensburg. We had a health coach. We had a couple of people selling crystals, a reflexologist, Reiki practitioner, a yoga instructor. Becca and the doula Kate were there. And then we had like a pad, like a reusable pad vendor. So it's really cool, like just a really different type of mix of vendors.
Really nice women's event.
Yeah. So it was really awesome. We did it at Santa View Farms in Champion, PA, and it was amazing. We had almost 100 people in attendance, which was like huge for us because I was like not sure if we would have anybody.
That's awesome for your first year.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome in
this
general,
year-
but especially
yeah.
for your first year.
Yes. So this year we're doing it again. It is on April 4th, and we are extending the day. So this past year it was 1 to 5, and it's going to be 10 to 5 this time with a lunch. We're still working on finding a caterer, but we're going to increase the vendors to 30 to 40, and the space is at Camp Harmony, so it'll be split. So the speakers will be in one space, and then the vendors will be in another, so you can listen to the vendors or listen to the speakers or go see the vendors, or do a little bit of both. There'll be time for both. And we're looking to have 3 to 4 different speakers. One is on the directory, Kristen Quattlebaum. She's coming down from Buffalo, New York, to kind of talk about kind of like finding your life purpose kind of stuff, and really like getting to understand what you need, being self-aware and stuff like that. And then someone had suggested a vendor or a speaker that's an herbalist, so talking about like teas and stuff like that to like make for women's health. So from your event, I met a couple people that possibly could do that for us. So it's been really exciting. I'm excited to have it in April. It's a week before I'm due.
Oh,
so
girl, you're doing the same thing I did.
But it will be amazing.
My first year planning wellness, I was pregnant. I was,
oh my gosh,
8 months pregnant. I had Annalise 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? Why do we plan this stuff when we're pregnant?
Well, I like how the date picked, which we were going to do it this past year is April 27th, closer to Mother's Day. And just because of other events that were going on and just dates that were available this year, we were like, well, I guess we'll just do it April 4th. It was actually the only date we could get the camp. And yeah, then probably about a month later, I ended up getting pregnant. So I was like, whoops.
Of course.
It'll all work out.
It will work out.
So, yeah.
So your goal is to have 30 to 40 vendors this year, all holistic based. That will be absolutely fantastic. That's so cool. And then is there a fee to come to this? So how does that work?
Yes, so we don't have the fee completely finalized yet because we're still working on a caterer.
Oh, that would make sense.
We're looking at $45 a ticket, and that will include, the full day and your lunch and everything. So we met with someone, but I'm hoping to find. We really want someone that's really into like holistic food, like food that heals, food that's good for you, and that kind of thing. So,
have you ever heard of the Grumbling Gypsy?
I have. So I need to contact her and see if she does catering, because I know she has the food truck and stuff. But
she catered an event, a farm to table event that I went to. So you might want to try her. I don't know how close she is to you. I don't know.
She's close.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, if anybody's looking for a caterer that does farm to table food, the Grumbling Gypsy does. I wanted to get her to come to Wellness, but she already had a prior event because I wanted to have 2 food vendors, but it worked out well.
Yeah.
But try her.
And then, and then I'll just put a side note. We're not 100% sure because now I'll have I can't do math that quickly. Okay, 6-month-old. But in October of next year, we're hoping to do like a whole family wellness event. But we're still like thinking about that and how we would want that to look. So
awesome.
But we do want to keep like the Spring into Wellness as kind of like our signature event, and then maybe add one more for the year.
It'll always be a women's event. The Spring into Wellness women's event. Very nice. And then it's women for any age, anyone that wants to come.
I think our age is like 16 and up. And of course, nursing babies, lap babies are fine to come. But yeah, so that's kind of the focus. And it was really fun last year because like a lot of groups of people came, so it was cool to see people like getting together to learn about health and wellness together. Yeah. Because having that community of people to grow and learn with is awesome. So
Very good. Very good. And tell me the date again. April 7th.
April 4th.
April 4th. I was September
Saturday,
7th. That's why I was thinking that.
Yeah.
April 4th.
Yep, Saturday, April 4th.
Awesome. So mark your
2020.
calendars. Yeah, mark your calendars for that for sure.
Yeah, and there's a Facebook event already created for it. So if people search second annual Spring into Women's Wellness event, you can, click interested or going and get the updates and stuff and see when the tickets are released.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome. So you have so much going on. How do you balance it all?
Well, I haven't been the last 2 months struggling with the depression. I've just kind of been doing like what I need to do. And my husband actually works away as well. And so I'm basically a single mom. So it's rough, but like a solid support system. And my mom helps me a lot, and I have really good babysitters that like can watch my son if I need them to. People that listen to me vent and talk and all of this stuff. And I am organizing the event and stuff with my one friend, so that helps to kind of balance some of that like responsibility, and we bounce ideas off of each other all the time and stuff. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
And you have something to look forward to, which is good.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you if you don't mind me asking, did you always have a bit of depression, or did this just come on with this pregnancy?
After my son was born, I had very, very mild depression, and anxiety was probably higher than the depression. It was a very just numb depression. Like I would sit and watch TV for hours in nurse time. Like that was all I did. I did get out and do stuff, but at this point, like I don't really remember a lot of it. But this has been a lot different. Very unmotivated to do anything, but also very just tired. I want to sleep all the time and watch TV and do nothing. Like my house is completely trashed. I finally caught up with my dishes last week after like a month of them sitting on the counter, kind of thing. And
my mom washed my dishes for me yesterday.
Yeah. I didn't let anybody come in my house for like over a month because I was like, and my mom actually wasn't picking my son up because of some other family stuff we had going on. So I was dropping him off. So I was like, well, whatever, like it'll be what it'll be. But yeah, so I finally got those caught up this past week, and slowly starting to get things in order and all of that. So I'm hoping I'm almost, out of my first trimester. So I'm hoping that it was just kind of a first trimester thing, but we'll see. And definitely, talking to some people, and they're like, you need to set this up like for what you're doing postpartum, because with everything I'm struggling with right now, like I'm sure postpartum's going to be worse next time. So.
Yeah. Hopefully not, and hopefully it's just now. But I struggled when I was pregnant, but I've always struggled with, I hate saying struggled. So I like to say survive. But survived depression and anxiety. I didn't realize I was bipolar until last year. But my pregnancy, not the whole time, but it got rough for a while. But at the very beginning, it was very rough. I was like wondering, like, what am I doing? Am I going to be able to do this? Just so much and so tired. And I get like that now when I get down. I try to explain to people, I'm just so tired. I'm tired.
Yeah. I just exhausted. Like I just physically don't want to do anything. I don't want to stand and do dishes. It's not that I don't like seeing them there. Like I definitely didn't like seeing them, but I did not want to stand. Like my stomach's been really weird this time. Not like it's like a faint nausea, but like also just like weird pains. And so it's just like been rough that way. So, but yeah.
Well, I hope you're coming out of it.
Yes, I think I am. Last week I started having a couple good days, and today's been my best day so far. So.
Good. That makes me so happy. Very good. And you said you found a holistic therapist?
I believe so. Let me see if I can. I don't actually know her name. That's really bad. But in Greensburg, it's called, her Facebook page is called Small Things Often. I don't know if you've heard of that. Okay.
Yes.
So I just found out, because Tara Hassler did her professional headshots, that she's creating a office in Ligonier, which is a lot closer for me than Greensburg. And just from seeing all of her stuff, I was like, I feel like she would probably be like the person I need to see. So I messaged her, and she's actually going to be doing some new stuff. So I'm really excited it opens in November. So
I had no clue she was a therapist. I thought she was a yoga teacher. Is she a yoga teacher too?
Yeah.
Okay,
She does,
okay,
like,
okay.
yoga and all kinds of different really cool events. And that's like when I found out, like I literally just this last week found out she was a therapist because I was on her website and I was like, oh, I need to see
My
her.
my girl, yeah.
So
Awesome.
yeah, so I'm excited to meet her and get to know her and stuff and hopefully have some really good success with her.
Yes, I'm sure you will.
So,
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't ask you?
I don't think so. That's one of my questions I asked too. But no, I think everything.
The interviewer,
was very thorough.
interviewer interviewing the interviewer.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah. No, I think everything was good.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Of course.
Please go check her out. Actually, I do know what I want to ask you. Where can people find you on Facebook and online?
Yes.
Duh.
On Facebook, Wellness for Generations LLC, and I'm not active on Instagram very much, but I'm working on getting there. Wellness for Generations, and then the website is wellnessforgenerations.com.
Very nice. Awesome.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes.
And thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Healing Hold the podcast. We will see you next time.